Let's get into this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something really fundamental, really human, caregiving. Our source material, it's this fantastic interview with Michael. He's got like 15 years experience as a caregiver, and his perspective is, well, it's pretty profound. So our mission, really, for you listening, is to get past the surface level here. We want to pull out the key insights, what real caregiving looks like, what it teaches you, and how to think about it, whether you're doing the caring or maybe looking for care yourself.
Yeah, and what's so valuable here, I think, is that Michael isn't just talking theoretically. He's living it. He cares for people professionally, sure, but he's also right in the middle of it with his own family. His wife has multiple sclerosis, for instance. So you get this kind of 360-degree view full of empathy. It's not something you hear every day.
Exactly. And Michael starts off right away saying caregiving is, quote, not just a job. That's kind of the core of it, isn't it? He actually calls it a way of life, something that's inside your heart and your mind and your soul. And he really believes it's either within you or it isn't. It's not just something you decide to do one day, apparently. He felt it really young.
Mm-hmm. And thinking about that description, within you, it really frames it differently, doesn't it? It makes you think it's less about just learning tasks, though that's important too, of course, but more about this innate quality, this sort of foundational empathy.
Right.
And it raises that question, what does it mean for something like that to be within you? How does that fundamental starting point shape everything else about the care experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And when he was asked about his biggest learning from all these years, wow, he shared something really beautiful. He said he learned that every single person he cared for, they all had interesting stories. But you had to, figure out how to get them to tell it. And he said when they did start talking, they just lit up like a Christmas tree.
Ah.
His words. Because someone was finally listening. Maybe, he thought, maybe for the first time ever.
That image, lit up like a Christmas tree, it's so vivid. And it just hits home, doesn't it? The sheer power of connection, of active listening. It's not just about, medications or appointments or physical help. It's about seeing the person, valuing their whole life, their history, giving them that dignity of being truly heard.
It really is an aha moment, that listening piece. It goes so far beyond just ticking boxes.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about why Michael's insights feel so, authentic.
And that connects directly to his own life, his own story. It's not just abstract for him. He cares for his wife, who has MS, multiple sclerosis. He explains it as a demyelination of the nerves in your nervous system. Basically, the nerve coverings get damaged. And he notes it's progressive. There are treatments, sure, things to stop the progression or delay it, he says. But ultimately, it's something a person will have for the entirety of their lives. That's a heavy reality.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that experience, that long-term, day in, day out reality, it must shape everything. But his caregiving roots, they go back even further, right? Back to his childhood.
Yeah, he tells the story about when he was 6. An M80 firecracker went off near him. Caused tremendous pain, he said, and his mother. She cared for me night after night. She stayed up all through the night while he was crying. Not fixing it necessarily, but just being there to just hug me and love me and care for me. He credits her, says she was the one who instilled within me this capacity to care. And his father, he played a different role. The ambassador of protection care, Michael calls him. The one who'd make sure things happened, like getting to the doctor if needed.
So you see both sides there, the nurturing presence and the practical action.
Exactly. And Michael says he kind of danced on a path of life, did other things for a while, but then life sort of threw back into the world of care when his own mom having cancer, and he says he haven't left it since. That experience brought him back fully.
That personal history. It just explains so much, doesn't it? Why he speaks with such empathy, such understanding. It's not theoretical knowledge, it's lived. It's seeing care, receiving care, giving care. Those formative experiences, they clearly shaped his entire approach.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that connection between his own life and his advice is just so clear. So, okay, let's pivot then. What does all this mean for you if you're out there looking for a caregiver for someone you love?
Michael's advice here is really direct. He says, number one, find somebody that really cares. Not just someone who can do the task, but someone who gets it. Someone who has been there in the chair of need that you're sitting.
That's powerful.
Yeah, someone who has been through a situation that they had to care for people that were close to them.
So he means someone who knows the reality, The emergency room visits, the chaos, right? The turmoil, as he puts it, of who's going to do what, when is it going to get done, how will we possibly set this up?
Exactly. All that messy, stressful stuff.
So shifts the focus, doesn't it? Away from just like a skills checklist towards finding shared understanding, finding empathy born from real lived experience. He suggests that creates a kind of insight you can't. You can't teach. You really can't. So that's what to look for. But what about what not to do? What are the pitfalls? Michael has a strong warning here. Avoid choosing a caregiver just for practical purposes.
Okay. What does he mean by practical there?
Well, he talks about, say, live-in caregivers. He says there are plenty of caregivers that will volunteer to be livings and come into your home.
Hmm.
And that might seem practical, convenient, maybe cheaper sometimes, but he cautions there are shortcomings to that and challenges. He doesn't detail them all, but the warning is clear.
Right. The convenience factor might hide other issues.
Exactly. And it connects to costs, too. He warns against just picking the person who charges, say, $10 an hour versus someone else at $12. He says you absolutely have to weigh everything involved. That includes, crucially, the person's experience, what they've been exposed to in terms of care.
Mm.
So his bottom line is crystal clear. Avoid making a rash decision out of practicality. Don't let convenience or cost be the only driver.
Which really brings up that classic tension. Value versus cost.
Mm-hmm.
The cheaper option, the practical one, it might look good on paper, short term.
Mm-hmm.
But if Michael's right, the long-term benefits of having someone truly invested, someone with that deep lived experience, that quality of care, that emotional support, that could easily outweigh any upfront savings. It forces you to think about what value really means in caregiving. It's not just about the hourly rate, is it?
Not at all. Wow. Okay, so reflecting on all this, it's been a really, really insightful look into the heart of caregiving, all thanks to Michael sharing his world. We heard loud and clear that for him, and likely for many truly dedicated caregivers, it's a calling. It's this way of life, not just tasks on a list.
Yeah.
And that amazing point about listening, how just truly hearing someone's story can literally make them light up.
Mm-hmm. That dignity piece again.
And we saw how his own life, receiving care, giving care to his wife, his parents, how that forged his empathy.
Definitely.
Leading to that core advice. Find someone who understands, who's been there. Don't just make the easy or cheap choice.
And it's important, too, that he ends on a note of hope. Despite all the challenges he acknowledges, his final message is simply, there is hope. Just keep the faith. Which is, a really powerful reminder. Even when things are tough in care situations, that resilience, that connection, it's still possible.
Absolutely. So thinking about this for you listening, how might this perspective shift things? This idea of caregiving as a way of life driven by this deep empathy and lived experience, not just duty. How does that change how you might think about giving care or receiving it, or even just interacting with people in your own life who are in those situations? Beyond the to-do lists, what happens if we prioritize presence, that genuine connection Michael talks about? What stories might you uncover if you really, truly listen?